Everyday van builders, hope you are all well. Welcome to the plus 10 video of the 2 plus 10 playlist. Building a camper van a slightly different way, and regulars know what we mean by that. Basically build out the inside of the van before actually buying the base van itself. I don't want to bore the regulars if you're thinking, why on earth is he doing that? There's a link up there that will take you through why, how, and some of the issues and some of the solutions, hopefully. Okay, today what I'm doing is an endurance test on the battery. So you've seen this set up with the electrical stuff and all that nonsense. What I want to do is say, okay, I haven't got solar power, I'm going away, I haven't got a hookup. How long can I go on that 460 amp hour Fogstar drift battery without any top up? So what I'm doing is, whilst things you can estimate things like fridges quite accurately and kettles quite accurately, cooking food is a bit of an unknown. So in my workshop, I'm cooking 2 full days worth of food, so I can extrapolate down to get the numbers. So I'm doing a full English breakfast for breakfast, funnily enough, a bowl of soup for lunch, and like steamed veg with stir fry and veggie chicken nuggets for dinner. Do the same meal twice in a row. Gonna get the numbers, and then we'll put that into the spreadsheet and see what comes back. Anyway, less of the waffle. Let's hop into the workshop. Okay, so there you got my kitchen in my workshop. Toaster, induction hob, microwave. And it's hooked up to the power module you've looked at in other videos. If you're not a regular here, there's links down below. You can see how we got to that stage. But yeah, my wife thinks senility is kicking in because I'm going to be doing, hopefully, dinners, 2 lunches and 2 breakfasts in my workshop. I'm going to take him inside to eat, just to see if we can get the endurance out of the battery, because some say, in theory, even without solar or hookup, we should be able to. Okay, and there's me doing my thing in the workshop. Actually, I sent that photograph to a friend of mine, and she said it looked like my wife had kicked me out and she had the house and I ended up with the workshop. Well, maybe if that was the case, I would be getting the better of the deal. Okay, scores on doors. Right, so basically I've done 2 cook-ups in the garage in the workshop, and each day I've done a full English breakfast, bowl of soup, and like a stir-fry thing with veggie chicken nugget sort of things. Had the same meal both days. And the shunt and the Fogstar app, actually, both, actually, it's interesting looking at the 2, both in very close agreement. That they said I'd use 17% of my battery up, which is so 8.5% a day. Working that back comes to 39 amp hours. Okay, so tea and coffee. I assume that I'll have 5 cups a day. Probably have to have less than that actually when I'm away. But let's be on the pessimistic side. I don't want to kid myself here, do I? So the power to boil 5 cups, and each time it's a cup or mug plus a little bit, so the cup don't go dry. And I've assumed a 10% inverter loss on that. That comes to 27 amp hours. So hot water for showers and that, so I can easily shower in 3 litres of water. So that 6 litre water heater I got, I assume that we'd heat the water up from 15 degrees C to 50 degrees C, again with a 10% inverter loss, and it should be better than that, because especially when we're in the sweet spot. But I've also assumed another 10% loss through it cooling down in the day and topping up. So I might have a shower in the morning and then in case it's using it in the day for washing up. And that comes out at 22.6 amp hours. And if I'm honest, when I'm away, I have a shower every 2 or maybe even 3 days. So actually that's pessimistic, but let's do it like that way. The fridge, that was easy. I could just go onto the website and saw what their annual use would be. Extrapolate it down to a day's use, again with a 10% inverter loss. And that's 0.93 amps, so amp hours. And what else have I got in there? I've got a hob extractor over the fan, and I'm going to assume that hob extractor is going to be running for an hour a day, because I let it run for a little bit more than just the cooking time, just to clear the area out. Again, with a 10% inverter loss, that comes to 1.83 amp hours. Okay, in lighting, that's difficult. What do I use? I've guesstimated it for, say, 3 hours a day. In the evening, I'll have lights on, and 3 meters worth of lights. I probably don't 1.5 meters at any one time, because I've got downlighters, and they use literally 7 watts per meter. So that's 5¼ amp hours. And I need to put in a 12 volt on 12 volt system, some miscellaneous like phone charger, music, etc. And I'm going to assume that's another 2 amp hours. Probably not actually. The pump to pump water around, I've assumed will be I assume that runs 15 minutes a day. That's an amp hour. And then big loss actually is the system, just running the system, because the inverter's on, it's using stuff. I'm ignoring the MPPT system losses because I'm assuming when I've got solar that'll get dealt with. But this is the pessimistic situation: not running the engine and no solar. And that's about 12 watts running continuously because apart from the inverter, and that's the downside, of course, of having a 240 volt fridge as opposed to a 12 volt. You've got to leave the inverter running. So that comes to 26.89% of my battery per day. And that's pessimistic. So if it's about 25%, that means I can go 4 full days without any additional hookup power or running the engine or solar. Okay, so anyone else out there who is currently doing all electric, and I've been speaking to a lot of people I know who are all electric and no gas. If you think I'm drastically out on any of those estimates, please let me know. It'd be great. By the way, no need to say, oh, it's not practical to have all electric in the UK, because whether it is or not, that's what I'm doing, and I know plenty of people who are full-timers who have dropped to gas. It's something I want to do. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you could do the old like and subscribe nonsense if you haven't already, that'd be fantastic. And I'll catch you in the next one.